I'm back. I've tried to do the live stream on my phone because they have it set up there. You can live stream the Rumble on my phone, but it got a little screwed up. So I'm doing this live stream here. A little heads up I talked about the charter schools. It was this one here. Okay, that's the last one I did. This one is destination training, and this is a link for all the goodies I have there. So, today, why are the Democrats so hateful? And I want to take a look at that because between the potty mouth and some of the other things that are going on, and how they think they're explaining things and they don't do it, is beyond me. And I don't see the Republicans do it, and the Democrats kind of make up things. But let me give you their, I guess, what they're composed of and what they spew out. And that's go with several things. One, they have a sleight of hand. They kind of like want you to watch this while they're doing something over here. And the Doge thing has really uh, put it together of the fraud that's happening. But I'll get into that later. My father used to say a couple things when I was a teacher, when I was a teenager, and he also had these little jokes and so forth. We had a lot of things that made a lot of sense, and I want to give you one of them. Uh, he would say that there was a prosecutor. He would set up a little thing. Prosecutor that was had this woman on the stand, and he would say, Mrs. Johnson, you said you work from 11 o'clock at night to 4 in the morning. You must be a prostitute. Well, the other guy, the other attorney, objects and he says, no more questions, Your Honor. Well, here's the problem that woman doesn't get to explain that she's not a prostitute, but everybody heard it. And that's what one of the problems with Democrats is they say something and they don't have to explain it. They don't have to be specific. They don't have to have any data. They just say it. For instance, I was just watching Fox News with the Doge group was on there, and they showed a Democrat saying, Doge is going to ruin your Social Security. Doge is going to take money from your retirement. Doge is going to screw up your Medicare and all that stuff. But they don't say it, but everybody hears that. And that's what pisses me off. They don't explain it. And what happens there is the Democrats, the ones that are not in, politics, the people out there that are protesting and so forth, they hear that and they repeat it. I will say the Democrats are the best at setting something out there that everybody believes and reiterates it time and time again, and they really don't know what they're talking about. The next thing, he used to say this thing, a fox smells his own hole first. And this is not about assholes. This is about a fox smells his own hole first. So with that being said, what that means is, and I use Shifty Shift as the example, is Shift would say things about Donald Trump. He's doing this, he's with Russia and so forth, he's collaborating here. Well, here's the thing. What that means is if one of these politicians are saying this is what they're doing, well, guess what? That's what they're doing. Okay. That's what they're doing. So they think, if I'm a crook, you must be one too. So that's what that fox smells its own hole first. When I heard that from my father, I said, what the hell are you talking about? So, there's some of the things that, the Democrats do. And um, based on the words that they use. Well, first of all, I have my doctorate, organizational leadership, but if they had to do a document or doctorate and use the words they use, there's not specific. You can't count some, many, probably that kind of stuff. Yeah, a reader would, stick this up your nose and say, no, we're not taking that. So they use a lot of things that people don't get to say you're wrong because they say it and then it's out there. It's completely out there. I look at the Democrats that here. Let me go back to Trump. I don't want to get ahead of myself. People hate Trump. There's certain people hate Trump, and there's two spheres to this. Okay, two hemispheres on Trump. The people that are not in politics hate him because of his personality. All right. Now, if you take a look at the personality of Mark Cuban, of Bill Gates, Steve Jobs when he was alive, and all that, and there's a few other people. Those guys were pricks. All right. You talk about Trump and being hit off, hit unhinged and so forth. Those guys were the same thing. They talked like, rotten to their employees, this and that. They, let's look at Google and so forth. They laid off 20,000 people, and the Democrats are saying the Republicans are destroying, but they've done the same thing. The Democrats liked Elon Musk before Trump was elected, but now that he's hanging with Trump, they hate him. Okay. And some of the things that one, I call her Davy Crockett, what she's saying about the governor of Texas is terrible, and she won't apologize. So I'm looking at that. But with Trump, we have two sides to this. Or one, the people that are not in politics, they hate him for personality. Now, let's go to politicians. Why did they hate him? All right. They're, let me give you an example. I was giving examples to my kids that I was teaching. I said, we talk about and give an example, and I use an analogy of car, and they always say that. But I'm going to use a show that my wife and I watch, Blue Bloods, okay, with Tom Selleck, and there's a few other people in there. And based on Blue Bloods, the main thing that happened is Selleck, who was the commissioner, his son was killed, and they didn't know who did it. Okay. And part of this was basically kind of like the French Connection. The French Connection was international. What happened is Joe, his son, was placed in the narcotics division. And in narcotics, you got drugs, you got money, and the whole thing. Well, these cops that he was with, they were taking money, taking drugs. And they wanted to see if he was going to be okay with this. Well, he wasn't. So they didn't want to get rid of their deal, their little honey bag there. So they killed him because they had a lot at stake. They didn't want to be ratted out, so they killed him. So the whole thing of the Blue Bloods was based on Joe dying, and they're trying to find out Joe, along with the other things that were going on. So let's go to Trump. They act like they hated him. They only did that so they could get people to be on their side and hate Trump also. All right. This is what I'm thinking. But they didn't want Trump to be elected. Look what they did the first term. And then when he was going to try and get elected for the second term, skipped one. And I believe that the Democrats cheated. That's all I'm going to say about that. So with that being said, they hated him only from the standpoint of theatrics. They wanted their constituents to believe what they were saying. But here's what they really wanted. They didn't want him to know what they're doing. The same thing like Blue Bloods. They didn't want him to, sound the alarm that the Democrats were doing this and this. And you're finding that now with all the fraud, with the money and all these, all these places, and the computers are from the 1950s, and they're sending out money to, how to be a Sesame Street queer or something. I mean, I can't remember all of them, but that's what they're doing. Now, my thing is they're going to be caught. And I think that Pam Bondi and the president have a few things that they're not going to bring out yet. They're waiting, biding their time. But I'm predicting that it could be Republicans, that a lot of Democrats are taking money. For instance, here's how it goes. They send money, USAID, they send it over to, say, Afghanistan or some other place. I haven't heard who the hell's collecting the money. So if, excuse me, so if the Democrats on that, in that place that they're sending the money, like, to Afghanistan, to China, to wherever, places in Europe, they're getting the person out there, and this is my assumption, they're getting the person out there sending money back. How does Pelosi have $80 million and she makes $176,000? How does she do that? Most of the senators and congressmen, they're millionaires. How did that happen? You go on Joe Rogan and stuff, and he asks the same damn question. How did they get that money? Well, if you pay attention, I'm a news junkie. If you pay attention to what's going on, you're going to see there's a lot of spaces that shit can go through and happen. And no one has said they found anybody that has taken the money. And I don't know why. No one brings that up. No one says anything. And the Democrats, I'll pick up on that, they're getting nasty because they're doing the sleight of hand. You're looking over here, and they're sticking it up your ass here. And that's what they're doing. So I wanted to get that out. In the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about education. I'm a retired teacher. I want to get more people to sign up on Rumble and YouTube. I'm also on this particular one. I have different things that I use on the website, and I hope you sign up. So I'm going to go probably on Monday. I'll have another. I'm going to figure out this damn live stream because you have to do RTMP. It's a little confusing, but we'll see what happens. But think of that. Democrats are nasty because they don't want you to know what they're doing. Okay. And Elizabeth Warren, she got like 80, $90 million. Where the hell did she get that? So I want you to ask that question. Now, Monday, I'll go back to education, talk about the some of the other things that could be done through the states and the counties. It's not lost yet, but there's a lot of improvement that needs to go on. So I'll see you later.